to be honest, if you have skin that has been damaged by sun because you haven't been wearing sunscreen for years, or you have really severe acne, we are not magicians. So we cannot solve that in one treatment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Our Lives Narratives. Remember, the goal of this platform is to, bring the lived experiences of individuals in a community that are making an impact in order to inspire and motivate and enrich all of your lives. Today's episode is centered around our gorgeous Black melanin-rich skin. We've discussed various topics on this platform, like finance and health, but we thought the need to talk about a topic that's, is not talked about a lot out there, and we know the importance of it. So for us to have this conversation today is a phenomenal woman. She is the founder of a multi-award med spa called the Melanin Studio. They have set the standard in skincare for melanin-rich skin. They are all about confidence, education, and pushing the boundaries of aesthetics. Our guest today believes that immigrants are resilient, creative, and have the ability to creep, run, crawl until they realize their dreams. So without further ado, you all help me welcome Megan Vernon. Megan, you're welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We appreciate your time this evening to talk about something that you are quite passionate about. And I can't wait for our viewers to tap into the knowledge and just the journey, that you've embarked on since you decided, I want this for myself, of course, and for my community. So, if I do have my Jamaicans in the building, hey. Megan is from Jamaica. And if you are from Jamaica and watching or joining us today, you're welcome. Thank you. We appreciate your time. And we know it's going to be time well spent. So let's get right into the conversation. And I've heard and I've learned that Jamaicans they have this entrepreneurial mindset. I've heard from Jamaican friends of ours that you are yet to find a Jamaican that doesn't have a side business. So I see that in you. And I've learned that this entrepreneurial mindset started since you were growing up as a child. So walk us through that journey of how that mindset started and some of the influences you've had from family members or community members. So get into it.
Beautiful. I like when, you just brought me back to my roots. Jamaica. So I was born and raised in Jamaica in Montego Bay, which is the second largest city in Jamaica. And growing up, yes. I don't know if we even thought of it as a side hustle. It was just a way of making ends meet for most people in the community. And not that they were making ends meet because they were impoverished. It was just because we wanted to give better opportunities to family members, kids, and friends.
Right.
So when I grew up, I could speak about my grandparents. Like my grandma, for example, she was a teacher, and all of her life she was a teacher, but she was very, very entrepreneurial. So she had her first venture that I could recall was when she bought over 10 acres of land on her teacher's salary.
Wow.
So she saved and, of course, may have applied for a loan at that time, which is very new because then that was like in the 1950s, 1960s. And so it was very different for a woman to go out there and be entrepreneurial, but she did it. She bought those acres of land and then she resold it. And then upon reselling it, I think she kept about an acre or two to herself.
Yeah.
And she planted a lot of plants. And so it was on that property that I grew up, that I spent most of my childhood. And she will plant pumpkin, tomatoes, other crops like cherries, mangoes, oranges. And I remember her selling them. Even after she was done teaching in school, she would gather them together and then folks will come by and pick it up for sale. And so that was me seeing my grandma do that. There was also my grandfather on my maternal side, where he was a banana farmer. And so he sold bananas to supermarkets, to hotels. And then there was on my paternal side, my grandfather was a carpenter and my grandma was a homemaker. However, she baked goodies and then she also sold it within the community. So even from that 2 generations removed from me, they were entrepreneurial. Then it goes down to my parents. Growing up in my household, I am from a family of 6 of us. So we have 4 siblings and then my mom and dad. My dad owned supermarkets. Right now, he owns a auto parts store. Okay. And then my mom, growing up with her, I remember sewing clothes, sewing teddy bears on Valentine's Days, and baking goodies so that we'll package it up and put it in cute gift baskets and sell it. She also owned beauty supply stores as well. And with that, I remember my first example of me selling was when I went to her beauty supply store, grabbed some purses that she sold, and I was only 7 years old. And I took those purses and I sold it at school. And I was just like, wow, people are going to buy from me.
That's nice.
And so I was only 7 years old, but I made my first dollar and I was, suffice to say, addicted to the sales. I was just like, you know what, Mom, I'm going to take more and more stuff to sell.
Nice.
And I learned from then that it was not necessarily a side hustle. It was just within my family, we believe in saving and we believe in investing as well. We are not coming from generational wealth. Okay. And so the idea was to build it up however we could. And sometimes a means of income is not guaranteed. True. 365 for 10 years, for even like 2 years, right? Yeah. And so having something on the side is like a cushion, something to fall back on just in case. And so I think that that's something that we were grounded in the Jamaican culture. And I can't speak for every family. Right. However, historically, we were brought from the continent of Africa and generations of wealth were not brought down or filtered down to us. Right. And so we had to hustle, but hustle because we weren't inheriting so many things in that process of life. So I feel like that could be one of the perspectives that's why Jamaican people are going to be doing these side hustles and so forth. Of course, I can't speak for every family out there, but that is something that resonates with me and my story.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You got your first dollar at 7. Okay, what was I doing at 7 again? That is amazing. Yeah. Good for you. And since then, you're like, okay. So it was always meant to be because this idea was passed down from grandparents, not your parents, and now you guys. And your siblings as well, right?
Yes.
Also? Okay.
Yes. So right now, all of us are basically entrepreneurs. My oldest sister, she's in Jamaica. She owns Body Studio Skincare, which is a medical spa based in Kingston and Montego Bay. She's doing great, over 10 years in service. And she had inspired me as well
Nice.
because it's a medical spa but based in Jamaica. And I see all the groundbreaking things that she has been doing in that industry in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's an inspiration to me. There's also my second sister, Melissa, who is based in Toronto. And she also owns her skincare business where she does paramedical tattooing and also stretch mark rejuvenation. And she has been doing really great in Toronto as well. My brother, he is doing well as well. He's an author. He also is a musician. And he also works couple jobs as well. In Toronto, when I used to live there, I had to work couple jobs as well. It's just what comes with the territory of a big city sometimes. But he's doing so well. And just having that backbone and that support from my family has been really instrumental in my growth. To see that they are doing it as well is really an inspiration to me.
Right. It goes a long way. Here you go.
Yep.
Megan got that from somewhere.
Somewhere. Yes.
And as she goes along, she has this village of people that have, similar mindsets and they're all growing together. So thanks for sharing that. I guess that's something we need to pass down. If you're thinking about it, don't stop, don't hesitate. Keep passing those values. It could be anything else other than just being an entrepreneur, right? So
yeah.
Let's talk about the Melanin Studio, the name. Okay, even before we go into that, you finally decide to be a strong advocate, creating awareness, because there's not a lot of conversation, there's not a lot of research or information about caring for our skin, our type of skin. So you went to work, you saw the need, and you went to work. So walk us through the journey, also how your education background, professional background, all beautifully intertwined into this journey of Megan.
The journey of Megan. It's beautiful because I wouldn't say that it was a straight path. It was up, down, side, round and around. It was a lot that happened.
Right.
And it did take a lot of faith. It did take a lot of strength, tenacity, and support from family and friends.
That's awesome.
The journey began, of course, when I was younger. I did grow up in a entrepreneurial family, and I thought, why not be an entrepreneur? I see the freedom that you get from being an entrepreneur, which is one of my core values, freedom. The journey continued when I moved to Alberta from Toronto. I moved here to do my master's in business at the University of Alberta. And during that degree, I was always racking my brain. What can I do? What can I do? What business can I create that could make a difference? And in business school, they oftentimes say, if you're creating a business, find a need and fill that need. And I remember one of the quotes from one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. And I remember Henry Ford said that if he asked people how they could go faster, from point A to point B, they would have told them to build or get a faster horse. So in that sense, no one thought of a car, but Henry Ford created a car in a world where there were only horses that could go from point A to point B. And so I created the Melanin Studio because it was, in the minds of many people, it could have been just building another skincare business, but I wanted to build something that was specifically going to serve people who look like me. And so I know when I moved here to Edmonton from Toronto, I was looking for a space that understood my skincare, my skin needs. And I was oftentimes turned away, saying, no, you can't do a chemical peel on darker skin. No, you cannot do this laser or that laser on darker skin. And I remember looking at my sister doing wonderful things in Jamaica on darker skin, because majority of people living in Jamaica were darker skin types. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And so, I felt as if, I went into a hair salon that never understood my hair as well. Because
Right.
we've probably been there where they turned you away and said, okay, no, your
Yeah.
hair is too curly. I cannot take care of it. And so I didn't want to experience that anymore. And so I did go back to school and I did study skincare. And I did notice as well that Black skin was understudied and overlooked in the
Right.
field of aesthetics. So even here at the school that I went to in Edmonton, I remember saying, okay, could I learn how to do that on my skin? And they were like, no, we will not do it on your skin. And so I did go back to Jamaica and I did learn a little bit more about taking care of our skin. And I did get mentorship as well along the way. And so I created the Melanin Studio for that safe space for people of color.
Okay.
And, even though it's a safe space for people of color, we are also open to others.
Hear that?
Because all of the education that I learned, all of the textbooks that I've read were made for non-people of color. So I am definitely certified to take care of all skin types. And I am proud to call myself an expert in skincare for all, and creating that safe space where we could do chemical peels, dermaneedling, laser skin resurfacing, lasers for skin tags, lasers for dark marks, acne scarring, safe for people of color.
Right.
And so that's basically have been my journey, just walking all the way and flying from Toronto, being the first one in my family living here in Alberta, and creating a business that was something that, to be honest, it was God who told me to start it.
Divine direction.
It was divine direction, because I remember when I started, I was unemployed for probably a full year. And I was sad. I was sad because it was very difficult for me, because I had 2 master's degrees and I had years of experience.
Right.
And I was like, why is no one hiring me? The ends weren't meeting. And I was just like, I probably just need to leave Edmonton. And it was a very difficult time for me.
Yeah.
And then, while I was praying, God said, I'm not giving you a job because you need to start this business. It was loud. It was very loud. And when God talks to me, God talks loud and clear. My ears are open. And God spoke to me and said, you need to start this business. And I started the business, and it wasn't easy because it was in 2020, pandemic. So I was closed down almost every other month. So it was tough. However, 5 years later, I'm here standing, and the business has been doing really well, had its ups, downsides, sides, but to God be the glory, because, it was a dream that He put on my heart, and I'm executing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the Melanin Studio is a multi-award winning medical spa.
Yeah.
Right? So how does that make you feel, like having all of these awards, right? And just from what you've shared, of course, the ups and the downs, it says something, right? It's like finally people are recognizing the impact, right, that this platform or this business is creating in our community, right? So, how does that make Megan feel, really?
You know what? I remember when I was growing up, I used to play tennis, I used to play badminton, and I always came third. And I was like, where's my award? And it wasn't until now that I've got recognition.
Yeah.
And, there's a Bible verse that says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans for you to prosper. And even though I wasn't winning those tennis awards back in high school or in university, these awards mean so much to me.
Wow.
It means so much to me because it is a recognition for the hard work, that I put in, which definitely came with sleepless nights and so forth. So when I was first nominated for an award, it was the Womanish and Scotiabank Awards in Health and Wellness in Alberta. This was November 2023. I never took it serious. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't take it serious enough that I went to the award ceremony by myself because I was like, I'm not going to win it.
Not prepared.
I was not prepared. I was like, friend, don't even come. I'm not going to win this award. And I remember they announced, and the winner is Megan Vernon. And I was like, oh, boy, it's me. And I gave a complete stranger my phone and was like, here, take a video of me going up there. And I cried when I got home because I was like, wow, I actually won an award. Yeah, it definitely was something that I didn't expect at that time. And then when they say when it rains, it pours, because then when 2024 came, that's when I won 3 more awards.
Okay. Went down.
Yeah. And
nice.
My brother always say, be careful what you pray for.
That's right.
Because one of the prayers I pray is the prayer of Jabez. Oh, that you bless me indeed and enlarge my territory. Oh boy, God has really blessed me. And I remember getting the next nomination for the other award. It was Junior Achievement Award here in Edmonton. And I was like, well, friends, you're going to come with me this time.
I'm prepared.
I'm prepared. Come and celebrate with me.
Nice.
So I had 2 of my closest friends, Kadeen and Candice, come out to celebrate with me that night. And then there was a point in time where I was feeling disconnected from the wins. And I felt, okay, this is great. But and then I realized that's probably because I'm being burnt out, because one of the things with being an entrepreneur is that you just continue working, stressing yourself out, that you're not celebrating your wins. And so I started being super intentional about celebrating my wins. And even last week, I had a celebration at the Melanin Studio. It was my first ever celebration at the Melanin Studio in 5 years.
In 5 years. I was going to say, wow.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I did say to everyone that came out, I was like, I'm so happy that you're here, because I made a huge intention last year that I'm going to be celebrating. And thank you so much for being the first set of people that I'm celebrating with. And so that was another award that came. And then there was the Canadian-wide award, where I was recognized to be one of the top 100 Black women in Canada.
Prestigious.
Yeah. And I was like, who's that? It's me. That was a big recognition, because I flew to Toronto, collected the award, and then I had all my friends, all my family's members come out too. And that was very beautiful to get that support. And then even a couple months ago here in Edmonton, I was awarded for business by the National Black Coalition of Canada. That one, I was really pleased as well, because it was something that I never thought of.
Right.
And, all glory and praise to God.
Amen.
Because these are things that I could not imagine.
Right.
And God has exceeded my expectations over and over and over again.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about the story that you're sharing right now is I didn't hear anything about you going into this for a trophy, for an award. But here you are, everything is lining up because you're impacting the community, right? Like people see what you do, and it is sure nice to have that recognition. So because of that, we are going to celebrate Megan here on our Lives Nerdy podcast for all the hard work that you and your team have been doing. And as you celebrate your 5th anniversary, we say cheers to all success and many more to come.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's awesome. So, yeah. So keep doing. You may not have trophies, you might have trophies, but there's feedback that you get. People just recognize what you do and they show it in different ways. So, yeah. the name melanin. So why why did you decide to use that name? As controversial as it may get, and as limiting as it may be, because you rightly said you do take care of all kinds of skin. But the moment you hear that, that might limit customers, clients. So, but you still decided the name that you were choosing that name. Why?
Beautiful. So I remember in December 2019 when God said, start your business, I said, okay, let's get to work. What am I going to name it? And I did go through a few names and a few options. It was a very difficult time. It was a very difficult choice as well. I knew I wanted to create a safe space for people of color. What is melanin? Melanin is the pigment in your hair, in your eyes, in your skin. It is what gives color to your skin. Everyone has it, from the lightest of the light to the darkest of the dark. If you are super, super light, you have less melanin. If you're super, super dark, you have more melanin in your skin, right? And so everyone has it. However, I knew that within our community, we coined that word, melanin queen, melanin king. And so I wanted to highlight that I am creating this space for melanin. Melanin, however you want to take it. In our community, we take it as, something that we're proud of, something that we are wearing every day, the color of our skin. That pigment in our skin is melanin. When I thought of naming the business, I had friends who were super supportive. And I remember one of my friends, Kadeen, she was with me and still is with me throughout the beginning of the business till now. Super duper huge support, one of my biggest supports for the business. And she was like, yeah, brilliant idea. And she is definitely focused on a lot of things melanin, right? And a lot of things. She went to school for a master's in education in social justice. And so she knows a whole lot about the historical aspects of melanin. And I remember speaking with her about it, and she was very passionate about it. Now, let's switch to pushbacks. Pushbacks came from my family.
Oh, they still love you. They don't want you to.
Yeah, you know what? And albeit this came from the baby boomers, the boomers, which were my parents. And my dad said, melanin. Why would you name it melanin in a white man's land? And that was tough because I was just like, don't you see my vision? But he didn't see my vision. And I remember it was a very difficult time for me, but I just came off of any contact with them for the first month of building the business. I didn't want to hear the no's because I had so many no's in my head already. So an extra layer of no. And what could go wrong is not what I wanted to hear. I wanted encouragement. They were saying what they said based on their perspective, right? And so I understood that, or I understand now. I don't know if I understood then. Then I was just like, just support me, man. Like, I'm trying something new here. But I wasn't getting that support that I needed, and it was a lot of pushback. And it was also me trying to find motivation from everyone else, where I should have just go to God and just talk to God and just be with myself and be at peace with my creation and get downloads from God on how to really manifest and actualize this. But I was asking friends and family what to do, what not to do. When really I have a source that is the God, you know?
That's natural, right? So that's a normal thing to do. To seek for
validation, but I wasn't getting what I wanted then. And so I started the business, named it the Melanin Studio, knowing that it within our community will be like, okay, that is for me. And honestly, like over 90% of my clients are clients from West Africa or the continent of Africa overall, and also the Caribbean, and with melanin-rich skin. Now, to everyone else, you are welcome. You are welcome. And I have noticed as well, this may be controversial, but I've noticed where my space is very melanin-rich, very Black focused. And when I go into spaces, because I do go to the doctor's office or to the dentist or so forth, I go into spaces and I am the minority, right? And it feels so good for my clients when they come in and they just see Black excellence. They love it. They love it. And they oftentimes say, thank you so much for creating a space where I could be seen and heard and where people understand me. And every time I hear that, I get goosebumps and I'm just like, you are welcome. You're welcome. And so that space that I've created is for everyone, but also a very sweet, precious space for us.
We need that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We don't always get that opportunity. So, hey, let's own it.
Yeah, let's own it. Yeah.
Well, everyone's welcome.
Everyone.
Take care of everyone. And you can get to enjoy that other side, our culture, right? In a way. So, try it. Awesome. That is amazing. I can just envision myself in that space, enjoying what, Megan has created. So share with us the kinds of services that you provide.
Beautiful. So the Melanin Studio now, we have expanded into a wonderful space with 3 treatment rooms, 2 manicure, 2 pedicure stations, and a waiting area. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is so relaxing. Once you enter, you have entered nirvana. Okay? I have curated that space, and one of my teammates, she says, Megan, you pay attention to details. And I do. Every tiny detail is paid attention to. So when you enter that space, you are going to be greeted, and you are going to, if you're a new client, you're going to get a free consultation from us. Because you may enter the space and you may say, oh, I want this treatment. But then after we look at your skin and understand your needs and history and what you're using on your skin, we may say, I think this treatment is better for you. So we have a very robust spa menu. And so the spa menu includes facials. One of our most popular facials to date is our Melanin Glow Facial, which is a 3-in-1 facial where you'll get to exfoliate your skin, brighten your skin, so get rid of some stubborn hyperpigmentation, deeply hydrate your skin, and or extract some blackheads from your skin. That's a super popular facial that we have. Most people choose that because you're getting 3 things or probably 4 things at the same time. Nice. And a wonderful thing about the Melanin Studio is that we're so boutique. We're such a small, unique team. And so we could actually curate the service just for you. When you enter the space and you lie down to get your facial done, one of the first things we ask you is what kind of music makes you relax?
Okay.
And so we change it to spa music. We have gospel music, R&B, or jazz, whatever you want. We have a premium Spotify, and we just find something for you.
Wow.
And further to that, we have a couple other services that are really medical grade in nature. So we have chemical peels. Chemical peels may sound scary, and lots of people are like, chemical, peeling. But essentially, it's a deep exfoliation of your skin. So we take about 4 to 6 weeks to get rid of old skin cells for new skin cells to come in. If you think of a baby's skin, super soft and supple. If you think about our grandparents, a little bit more leathery and hard. So a baby's skin takes about 2 weeks to get rid of it. When you get older, it takes longer. So our grandparents, it may take about 6-8 weeks. Us, at our age and stage, takes about 4 to 6 weeks. What a chemical peel does, it gets rid of that top layer quicker so that your new skin comes out quicker, and then you get a softer looking skin. We have chemical peels depending on your concern, whether it's acne, dryness, or hyperpigmentation, or all at the same time. So one of our most popular chemical peels is a perfect derma peel, which essentially includes glycolic acid, lactic, salicylic acid, phenol, TCA, and a master antioxidant called glutathione. That is going to be exfoliating your skin, getting rid of dryness, getting rid of hyperpigmentation, acne. And that's one of our most popular peels.
Nice.
The next service that we have, which is really transformative, is derma needling.
Okay.
Essentially, derma needling is called collagen induction therapy. We're using tiny needles. You can't see them, you can't feel them, about 1.5 millimeter in depth. So it goes into the dermis of your skin. You have the epidermis, the dermis. So it goes into the dermis, breaks down pigmentation. It also helps to smoothen out any fine lines, wrinkles that you have, and it's really good for plumping your skin. So you get a really nice glow. And depending on the serum, we have a serum called the VAMP, which has vitamins, amino acids, minerals, and PDRN, which essentially will give you a wonderful glass skin afterwards.
Nice.
Now, apart from the manicures and pedicures, which are really nice, so you could always come in to get everything done on the same day, get a facial, get a manicure, pedicure. We also have a laser, which is our newest addition to our spa menu. This laser is transformative. It's called Aerolase Neo Elite. This laser is FDA approved for 36 different indications. So it's going to be really good for 36 different things. To name a few, most people come in with certain issues, and this laser will be good for hyperpigmentation, acne, acne scarring, fine lines and wrinkles, skin rejuvenation, skin tags, warts, psoriasis. It's also good for rosacea, eczema, so many more things, including laser hair removal. So getting rid of pseudofolliculitis barbae, which is ingrown hairs that guys get from shaving or women get from shaving. It's really good for 36 different things. And being Megan from the Melanin Studio, I would not bring a laser that is not good for melanin-rich skin. This laser here is the best laser for melanin-rich skin. So if you want to get a laser service, if you've been thinking about laser hair removal or just resurfacing your skin with laser, this is a laser for you. Now, it essentially could be piled on with other things. So you could actually do the laser followed with a chemical peel same day because it's so safe. That laser, it goes in your skin in 0.065 milliseconds in and out. So you can't feel anything. Most folks say when they feel it on their skin, it feels like a warm blow dryer or a drop of hot water. And on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 feels like, ouch, 0 is like, I could fall asleep, it's feeling like a 1. It's a very gentle laser for all skin types, all skin tones. And it's a laser that's made for us.
Nice.
So that's like that's not a sneak peek. That's a peek of our spa menu, which you could always find online. And if you're ever confused about like what to choose, there's always a phone consultation or a online consultation that you could choose to decide what you want to get done.
Right. I don't know about you, that got me excited.
Yeah.
And I've shared with Megan, I walk around the location. So I've driven around the studio a couple of times, and I'm like, oh, that's the Melanin Studio.
Yes.
So I can't wait to get myself in there one of these days. So make sure go back to the episode rewinds so you can get the full details and write it out. And Megan will share, social media handle and the website, so that way you have that to refer back to. Talking about taking care of our skin, what are essential tips of getting the right type of esthetician? Like, what do you recommend? If someone's, because you meant you did share, you do a phone consult. So if someone's out there looking with all kinds of, melanin skin, like what do you recommend to them in choosing that right? Of course, choose Megan.
Yeah, if you're
She
in
does it
Edmonton,
all.
choose me.
But what tips would you give to our viewers
Okay.
and listeners?
Of course. I feel like just like choosing your doctor or your dentist, do your research,
Okay.
do your due diligence. If you find someone, I like supporting Black-owned business. That's just me. And if that is your value, then you go out and be very intentional about supporting who you want to support.
Right.
I think for finding an esthetician, if you're not in Edmonton and you're looking for an esthetician somewhere outside of Edmonton, definitely getting someone who has done the work.
Okay.
So have the licenses and certifications, super important, because then that's the base of skincare. Understanding the anatomy of the skin, super important.
Okay.
Also, an esthetician should create a safe space for you. Okay. We understand that you may be uncomfortable with your skin. And so if you're going to an esthetician, they need to hold a safe space for you. So if you have acne, fine lines, wrinkles, dark spots, and you feel like they are not being open and honest with you, then they may not be the right person for you. Also, choose someone that doesn't overpromise. Because to be honest, if you have skin that has been damaged by sun because you haven't been wearing sunscreen for years, or you have really severe acne, we are not magicians. So we cannot solve that in one treatment. Right? So if an esthetician is just like, yeah, come to me, you just need one treatment, which I really hope no one says that because it's very impossible. They may not be the right person for you.
That's a red flag?
That's a red flag.
Okay.
And so an esthetician, just like your dentist and your doctor, needs to set realistic expectations for you. And you also need to be super honest with us because you cannot be telling us that you have no underlying issues when you actually do. And then we're trying our best to like solve your skin concerns.
Yeah.
And then basically we're ending up basically where we started because there will be no progress. So a lot of onus, I would say as well, if you do find an esthetician that is right for you, a lot of onus is on you, what you do at home. It's 20% of what you do in the medical spa, 80% of what you do at home.
I was going to ask,
right?
Maintenance and all of that.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Because you're coming back to us every 4 to 6 weeks because like I mentioned, that's how quickly your skin takes a turn over.
Right.
Now, if you are coming back to us in every 4 to 6 weeks, that means that there is 30 days in between that you are at home doing whatever you're doing.
So better be doing something.
Better be doing something. And so what you're doing at home in terms of using medical grade skincare that's targeted for your skin concern.
Okay.
Using sunscreen all day, every day, even when you're inside, even on winter months. Super duper important because it's going to be preventing dark spots, hyperpigmentation, and early signs of aging.
Okay.
Making sure that you're cleansing your skin properly, not using super hot water, not going into the sauna when it's super hot, but not cooling down your skin. There are just so many tips and tricks to take care of your skin. And if you're not doing the work at home and then you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, my skin is not improved, then girl, guy, you're not doing the work.
That's right.
Right.
Okay.
So finding an esthetician, super important that you're doing your research. They're holding that safe space for you. But a lot of it comes back to you and what you are doing at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You picked my brain because that was my follow-up question on essential tips of taking care of a beautiful skin. Is there any additional things that we should be doing on top of the sunscreen and anything else you would like to add to that?
I feel like if you want to prevent early signs of aging, if you want to get rid of hyperpigmentation or control your acne, if you want to get rid of unwanted hair growth, do not follow trends on TikTok.
Thank you.
Loud. I'm saying that loud.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. I've seen it so many times where people follow these trends on TikTok and they end up with burnt skin or damaged skin. And they're like, could you help me? Like, what can you do for my skin? I'm like, you have damaged your skin. However, I will try to help you. But that's one of the things where, you know, we're living in this day and age where we have so much access to information and misinformation. And so it is super important that you are going to be going out there and finding the right products for your skin. And it may be difficult if you're not an expert in skincare ingredients and understand how they work. So I've seen so many times where people are trying to do DIY scrubs or DIY oils. Okay? You are not a chemist. So if you're not a chemist and you're playing with chemicals, you're going to cause a chemical reaction on your skin that you're probably not going to like.
Right.
And so stay away from the TikTok and social media trends for your skincare. If you do need help, we do offer online consultations for anyone across the globe. If you really need to know where to start in terms of products that you could use at home, we could help you with that. We dive deep into the ingredients. We tell you which ones you could continue using at home that you have in your cabinet. Some things you should probably toss away.
Yeah.
Right? So that for me is like one of the main things is just seeking the help for your skincare routine. And don't overuse active ingredients. So don't play chemist. If you're going to be using a skincare line, probably stick to that one skincare line for that night, not mixing the vitamin C with another brand of niacinamide and with another brand of retinol. And then you're piling it on. Your skin's going to freak out because so many chemicals is being mixed together that don't go together. And so that's one thing that I would recommend in terms of don't play a chemist with your skin. Also, if you're using ordinary products, don't expect extraordinary results.
What do you mean by ordinary?
Hint, hint. There's a brand actually called Ordinary. And, you know, when my clients walk in and they be like, yeah, I'm using the Ordinary. I'm like, how's the result?
For people like us that are looking into taking care of our skin better.
Yeah. So there are some brands out there that's sold by Sephora or in Shoppers Drug Mart, Rexall.
Yeah.
So these are over-the-counter brands.
Okay.
You are going to get over-the-counter results.
Okay.
So, you know, the price tag may be lower, but you probably have to be using that for years to see any results, or you probably will not see any results. Right? You're probably going to get some ingredients into your skin. However, because it's not medical grade or cosmeceutical grade, it is not going to be targeting your acne or your hyperpigmentation or fine lines, as well as other skincare products that are medical grade in nature.
Okay.
So going for products, you may have to spend a little bit more, but they do last longer and you do see better results if you go medical grade products.
Awesome. Well, I don't know about you. If I was looking for something to watch or listen to on a Wednesday evening, it will be this podcast, this episode. Because there's not a lot of conversation out there, right? So thank you so much, Megan, for being a strong advocate for providing this safe space for our kind of skin, creating this environment that I cannot wait to enjoy. And we did talk about you celebrating your 5-year anniversary. Yeah. There's a celebration or an event that's coming up. Why don't you tell viewers about this event and how they can sign up and participate? An opportunity for all of us to go in and see the space.
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
And then you could share your social media handle, website, and all of that afterwards.
Okay. Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So I remember telling you during this conversation that I was not celebrating. Okay. And so over the last 5 years, I have not celebrated the Melanin Studio. And it's just something, I guess, as an entrepreneur or just as being Megan, that I just didn't celebrate. I was in the thick of it, just building. and then not celebrating. So on July 19th, I will be celebrating. I'll be celebrating 5 years of Melanin Studio. And so this is our 5-year anniversary event, which will be on July 19th, which is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Of course, spots are limited. So every hour on the hour, you'll have a chance to come in. So you come in at either 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But within that hour, you'd have to leave so that the other people come in. So that just means you have to register.
Right.
Okay? No walk-ins will be accepted. And I'm so sorry if you show up and we tell you that, sorry, there's no space inside.
Yeah.
So go onto our website, www.themelaninstudio.com, or click the link in our bio on Instagram at The Melanin Studio to register. You could register for morning slot or an afternoon slot. When you be coming in, you'll be greeted with champagne. Okay. We'll have hors d'oeuvres. You'll have wine, red or white. And then you'll get a free face scan. Okay. So you'll get to scan your skin to see what's happening with it. Right. And then we could recommend some products, some services that may go based on your skin type, your skin concern. Throughout the day, you'll be getting giveaways and goodies. We have some wonderful sponsors already. Oh, nice. And so over the next couple weeks, we will be announcing who is sponsoring or gift bags or raffles. We have over $4,000 in giveaways.
You don't want to miss that.
Okay?
I know I don't.
$4,000 in giveaways only for those who attend. And then there's some giveaways that are exclusive for those who purchase products, services, and packages.
Awesome. So
our last event, which was a couple days ago, was our laser event. Okay. And we gave away $500 worth of skincare laser service to one lucky winner, and also a free underarm laser hair removal session. And so that was a wonderful event. Yeah. And that was just a sneak peek because that was just a 3-hour event with a small group of people. Yeah. And they got a chance to win $500 plus. And so don't walk, run, and sign up because we're over 80% filled. Okay, already.
What am I waiting for? Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm doing mine right away.
Yes, do yours right away because like some of the slots are already gone. You'll see. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm super excited to celebrate with everyone. Yeah. Nice. My family and my friends are coming out to celebrate with me too. And
come out. Let's support one of our own Black-owned business. And she's doing a phenomenal job and it gets me really excited. I need to take care of my skin better, so I'll be talking to.
I'm all ears.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Megan. I cannot wait for our viewers and listeners out there to get this information because I know it's quite significant and it's not your average conversation. It's not your normal conversation. So I cannot wait for this episode to be aired. In one word, if you were to describe some of your life experiences and some of the things you've shared with us today, what would that one word be?
Abundance.
Awesome. And why is that?
I remember a couple months ago, I was in a session with my psychologist. And we were talking about abundance. Okay. And I was very confused about what abundance meant for a very long time. Because once upon a time, abundance just meant wealth, money. And then in that session, anyway, shout out to psychologists. By the way, my undergrad is in psychology. And so I do understand the importance of mental health. So if you need to pay somebody to listen to you, pay somebody to listen to you. And if they hold a safe space for you, good for you. And that's a blessing. So that was a side note. Yeah. Abundance was my word or is my word that I'm choosing today. Okay. Because at that time, a couple weeks ago, it meant something new. Abundance to me, instead of just meaning wealth. Yeah. Abundance to me means freedom. It means autonomy, authenticity, and thriving. So that is my word today, and that's the word that I carry in my heart, because it's no longer connected to wealth, to what's in the bank. It's connected to the fact that I am free. I'm a free woman. It connects that I'm authentic. I'm the authentic version of myself when I show up in places and spaces. It connects to me because I have autonomy, autonomy of thought, autonomy of my body, and I get to choose what I want to do when I want to do. And abundance to me means I'm thriving. And with having the Melanin Studio, I am thriving. I am abundant. And God has blessed me exceedingly abundantly and continues to enlarge my territory.
Amazing. So that's a big umbrella with little
tiny
with
words.
different aspects under it, but that is phenomenal. Thank you. I never thought about that word from that perspective, but yeah, absolutely. So think about those four. Is it four? Autonomy. Think about them, and yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
As we round up, what encouragements would you give to immigrants that are thinking of pursuing their own business?
The biggest encouragement that I will give to anyone, immigrants, non-immigrants who want to start their business, is that it's a seed that is planted in you for a reason. Okay? If you could do it, do it. And sometimes when you start, that's when you start learning. A body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest. If your seed of entrepreneurship is planted in you, but it's just resting and it's not in motion, then your business may not come to light. God planted that seed in you for a reason, and you may be the only person who could execute it the way God wants it to be executed. So, if you have it in your heart, then do it. What does doing it look like? It may look like sleepless nights. It may look like hours and hours of quiet time just thinking about your business. It may look like seeking mentorship. It may look like non-stop research and non-stop drive to thrive. So seek the help that you need to seek. We have wonderful community organizations in Edmonton, across Canada, that could help you with your business plan. But we are in a day and age where you cannot say that you don't have the information, because gone are the days we used to have to go to the library and go find a book, scan a card, take a book, flip through and read it. No, you just Google. Maybe ask ChatGPT. Who knows, right? But it's gone are the days where you could say, I don't have the information. I don't know where to start. Take up your phone, say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to start this and this business. What are my first 5 things that I need to consider? There you go. That's the beginning. But just start, because then 2 things can come from it. You should continue or you should stop. But starting is the way to go with your seed that's planted in you.
That's nice. That's a nice way to wrap this up. But before we go, I know you shared the event coming up. Do you have some of those products in-house? Maybe you want to share that.
So definitely. So overall, Melanin Studio, we've been growing so much. We're now a team of 5, and we're happy to help you, whether at the event, after the event, even before the event. If you swing onto our website, www.themelaninstudio.com, you could see all the services and all the products that we offer. So we offer medical grade aesthetic services, facials, chemical peels, dermaneedling, lasers. And we also offer medical grade products. So we're talking your cleansers, your serums, your moisturizers, sunscreen, body wash, body lotions. Things that are targeting the specific concern, whether it be anti-aging, hyperpigmentation, hydration, brightening, exfoliation. So all of these products are in-house. And I want to also say that every product and every service that I offer at the Melanin Studio, I have tried it at least once. I would not offer a product or a service if I don't stand behind it 100%.
It's good to know.
And so I am not giving you something that was not researched night after night. I'm giving you something that I have researched, that I have tried and proven that is good for all skin types, all skin tones, and I have curated it specifically for you in mind. And even when you come in, just because we're such a small, boutique, wonderful business, we could curate it even more for you. The whole experience is made with you in mind. And so if you have any questions, swing onto our website or send us an email at themelaninstudio@gmail.com. Go on to our Instagram or TikTok or Facebook at the Melanin Studio Limited, or give us a call or text 780-707-0205. We are always here to answer all your questions and to make you glow unapologetically and love the skin you're in.
Awesome. All right. Well, I hope we did say it will be a time well spent with Megan today. I know I've learned a lot and I've been inspired, and I'm pretty much sure you as well. So thank you all for joining us today. Continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms, and please make sure to share this episode. Make sure to go on the platform and explore. There are a lot of other episodes that you can get inspired and learn from. If you're a newcomer to Edmonton or to the country, or even if you've been here for 20 some years. So thank you all so much for watching. And if you have not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button to continue to support all of these beautiful stories that we keep bringing to you every now and then. Until we meet again, as I always say, it's our lives and our stories. Thank you all for joining, and Megan can say good night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.